Okay, now there's the best part of the service, as you know. Please welcome our pastor, Sister Rose.
It's good to be here this morning, in spite of all that this week has held for us. I am thankful to God for his blessings, for giving us the strength and the courage to do what we need to do. It still feels good in here. I thought if Paul and Silas could shout in jail, we could shout. That's the truth. But I am looking forward to preaching this message because I think we're living in an hour that people need to stand. Somebody wrote, I think it was that lady used to be, I can't think of her name, Star Jones. She wrote a book that you'll either stand for something, or you'll fall for anything. That's the God-sent truth. You either standing up for what you believe is right, and if you do your part, God will do his. That's what he did. He did his part for us after we done ours. And you can sit back and say, well, I don't know what, but yeah, he's waiting on you. Are you going to stand? Are you going to do what you need to do? You got to do it. You don't have no other choice. And I wouldn't want it any other way. But I'm preaching to you from Ephesians, the 5th chapter. Father, we're grateful today, the 6th chapter, I'm sorry. We're grateful today for your blessings, for all that you've done for us. And what a privilege it is to come to your house to worship you in spirit and in truth. I pray that you might be glorified. God, we thank you for answering prayer this week. Without your answering our prayers, we couldn't be here today. We thank you because you've been so good and so kind. Ask you to continue to bless us and make us to be a blessing. And we'll give you glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. Yes. I'm in the 10th, at the 10th chapter, 10th verse rather. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand. I love that. When you said we done everything we can do, stand. We done went here, we went there, stand. No matter what. So when you think you've done everything, you put all your energy in and you've done everything that you think God wanted you to do, stand anyway. We got to keep on. Then he says, having your loins girt about with truth. You can't stand without loving truth. You got to be wrapped up in truth as you can't stand. So that's why I was making the emphasis last night. Disobedience is one of the most greatest sins we can have. And people are still doing it. I am amazed. I'm thinking, okay, I couldn't believe I was asked a dumb question. That's why, how we going to put our makeup on? We don't care if you got on it. We really don't care. The bottom line is, I'm in church. Why am I on that team? I don't get it. I'm thinking, God, why are we looking at you today? Why are we not magnifying you? Why are we not glorifying God? Why are we concerned about the most trivial things in our life? They don't really matter. They don't really matter. But he says, you got to girt your loins about with truth. Wrap yourself up in truth. And then put on the breastplate of righteousness. Then live righteous. When you're righteous, God will move for you. When you do it the way he wants you to do, he will move for you. Yes, yes. I thought, and then he says, have your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. We got to know what the gospel is. I said last night how important it is for us to know the gospel. You don't know that, you're not going to make it. Above all, taking the shield of faith wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So he said that now you got to have faith to win this. Without faith, you cannot survive. Without faith, you can't get through this situation. Faith in God that you're going to work it out. You're going to get us through it. You're going to help us in spite of it. Yes. I said to Lamont, always be open to hear from God. That's important. Nisi made such a beautiful point, I had to do it. When we got in the car, the first when I got in the office, she said, Mama, I said, okay. But you got to do what you originally said. You said no visitors. You shouldn't go back on it, Mama. Because we could have anybody come in this building and say, I didn't have this problem until I went to that church. I didn't get the coronavirus. I went there, you know what? And I didn't have the coronavirus. And so, but when I left, I had it. I don't know what happened to me. You can't afford it. You cannot afford it. Because if we make a bad move, and we don't get the answer from God, the door he's open, we can close it. You got to say, how do I keep this open? I got to make a good decision. Not just let everything go because we feel sorry and wish we could do this. At this time, what's good for this hour? What's good for right now? Do we want to do it different? Yes, but is it going to work right now? That's the bottom line. If it ain't going to work, hold off. The same people that came, if they want to come again, it'll be a time. It ain't just got to be today. There's going to be another Sunday. There's going to be another church time. And I said, no, I hear you. When you say I need the Lord to speak, you don't know where it's coming from. But when he speaks, be listening. He that hath an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit saith to the church. Listen. It might be through a child. It might be through somebody you never even thought. And I said, Nisi, why didn't you come out and say something? She said, because I would have been too emotional. And then I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings because then you would get me when I get home. Yeah, that's true. So we talked. Thank God, because you got to understand what's going on, and this is different. So I'm on a path now that I never walked before. You're on a path you haven't walked. So do we need directions from God? We need directions what to do. Yes. I'd rather sit 6 feet apart in this church and worship God than not to have church at all. Yes. So when I looked at this, I thought to myself, how important is truth for you to stand? Without a doubt, I'm convinced of this. You can't stand without being equipped. You got to have on what you need to help you to stand. You can talk about it. You can shout about it. You can do all them things. But at the end of the day, you better be clothed in a place that you can stand. You better have on the armor of God. You better know what truth is, and you better do it. Because if you live in a lie, God's not been with you. Because he's not going to do it. So am I equipped? Am I equipped for the storm? The storm's going to come. There's nothing we can do to change that. To be equipped is to supply you with the necessary items for a particular purpose. So I need the stuff for this battle. What do I need for this battle? You know, every battle is fought different. Do you know there's a strategy to win the war? But if you don't have the right strategy, the devil will defeat you. You got to know, how do I fight this battle? It may not be like I fought the battle last week, because this is another week. This is another time. This is another time where people understand. I got to be careful. I need to know, God, that I don't mess it up. You fix it for me. I don't want to mess it up. Listen. There's certain things you got to have for a certain type of war. I'm sure when our soldiers go to war, they don't always have the same weapon. Sometimes they got to call in artillery because this is bigger than just a foot soldier. So we got to understand, where are we at now? How do we fight this war that we can come out ahead, we can come out better, stronger than ever? Or else we can fight it wrong and be defeated every step of the way. It all depends on us. So if the church don't become equipped, not in the middle of the war, but before the war, am I clothed that if suddenly something came that it was unexpected, am I clothed and ready for this? Because you can't get ready all at one time. That's why whatever I'm told to do today, I'm doing it today. Because what I do today will help me tomorrow. That's a fact. This is a spiritual warfare, believe it or not. This is spiritual. You may look at it, oh, it's like this, like that, but it's a spiritual warfare. It's an attack against God. And God is showing himself in the midst of this. Everything you've done it against me rather than for me. Now I will cover the earth with what I'm doing. And I want you to wake up. I want you to be shaken until you realize where you're at and what you need to do and what you should have done long time ago. Yes. If I had not applied the word over these 54 years, I could not stand the test. You couldn't do it. You would know what to do. If you're not used to praying and asking God for direction, you ain't going to know what to do. If you depended and leaned on your own understanding and what you thought was right and what you think should be done, you're getting ready to mess up. Acknowledge the Lord. In everything that you do, he will direct your path. What do? You got to do it right. You can do it your way and it won't work. It won't work. To be an overcomer, I must be ready for war. I got to win this thing. When it's all said and done, when he says, well done, thy good and faithful servant, that's got to be because I was an overcomer. If you overcome, I'll help you. You got to overcome. He that overcometh will receive a crown of life. But if I can't overcome, I'm not having that. You're going to be a winner in this war, or you're either going to be victim of the war. You got to ask yourself, am I going to be victim? Am I going to be used up? Am I going to be lost everything? Is all my joy gone? Is everything that I really wanted to do and what have you? Where am I at now? Too many people go to war. In a natural sense, they go to war, and when some people come home missing a leg. Some people lose both arms. Some people it's so bad off they can't recuperate. They'll never walk again. They'll never talk again. And then some people die. Don't die in the war. Win the war. Otherwise, you become a defeated person. You have no power. Nothing is worse than in time of trouble that we cannot stand to face the devil head on. You can't run away. I'm not comfortable running away. What am I receiving for running away? I don't want to run away. I want to go forward. I'm not scared of the devil. He don't have power over me. I got power over him. So do you want to be a victim? Or do you want to be a victorious person? How do we have to fight this war? I would not have chosen to fight this war this way. I would have rather been a different way. But if this means at the end I get victory, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. A person that is a victim either gets harmed, injured, or killed as a result of the war. How many people are going to be alive when this is over? How many people are going to be stronger when this is over? How many people are going to get injured so bad they'll never recoup? They'll always be messed up. They'll always have a bad walk. They'll always have arms that don't function. They can't move. They got too many things happen. See, you can't afford. You can't afford it. There will be many victims as a result of the coronavirus. There will be physical, psychological, emotional injury. No doubt they will never recover. So is it spiritually. You've already been robbed. If you let the devil rob you before the war, come on. He comes to rob, to steal, and to kill. Did he take something that you needed in time of war to get you through this situation, and you let him do it because you didn't pray? He said, watch and pray that the devil don't get the advantage, that you don't enter into temptation. Watch and pray. They don't pray. If you don't pray, you're going to get robbed because you're not alert. You're not recognizing the enemy. You're not ready for the battle. See? There are going to always be attacks. I said to my family last night as I sat there in the bed, I said, you know what? I said, I have never been without a war from the time I got saved. From the time I got saved, I looked to the Lord, I said, just before you take me home, just give me a tiny bit of no war, and I can just feel this rest. As a new convert, it started on me ASAP. It wasn't like some of you got saved and the devil didn't bother you for a spell. He bothered me ASAP. I think he has some knowledge of where we're going. I remember them saying one time in Washington when they turned the lady on me that had won me to the Lord. That was the most horrible thing I ever went through in my life. I loved Juanita. I loved her. I loved her. She taught me the ways of God. She taught me how to fast and pray. She taught me how to fight the devil. I'll never forget it. Charles went to Vietnam. I went to Tacoma. And said, I'll stay there till Charles comes back. Little did I know I would be put through a test that as I have never even began to believe I could go through. The woman that won me to the Lord backslid suddenly. God have to show it to you. And I remember one day the Lord showed me a dream that scared me to death. I didn't know what to do. Church people in Washington, they didn't know me. They only know Juanita. She had a good name in the state of Washington. I didn't. Nobody knew me. Where could I go? And I had a dream. And in the dream, I heard two devils talking, communicating. And they said this: we must make Juanita a false image. And one of the devils said, that's going to be hard to do. This woman had a place with God. It's going to be hard. And then I heard him say, if we don't get her through Juanita, we'll never get her. It's just two demons communicate. If we don't get it here, we'll never get her. You must change her into a false image. I'll never forget it. When I heard him talking, I took off running because I saw Juanita at the top of the hill. So I took off running real fast to get to Juanita. And when I got close to her, I said, Juanita, you gotta hear this. You gotta hear this. And when I looked up in her face, all of this was another face. And when I looked, I said, oh my God, you're not Juanita. But she looked like Juanita. Everything about her looked like Juanita. And I said, you're not Juanita. And she just looked at me, and I turned around and I started running. So I went to her. I said, Juanita, I had the most horriblest dream. She said, what is it? I said, I dreamed that the devil said they'll never take me out if they don't take me out through you. I said, they said they're going to make a false image out of you. She said, I wouldn't let that bother you. I don't know what that meant. Yes, she did. I went back. I got on a 7-day fast. I was so scared. She started turning on me. We were headed to the convention in Portland. Portland's right outside of Tacoma. And this is what she said. She said, I know when I get there, they're going to be calling me up and want me to say something, have words. And she said, I do this every time. When we got there, this woman got up. They didn't call Juanita, they called me. So, that was dangerous. And they said, we got a little Sister Banks down in Tacoma, Washington, that God is using in a mighty way, and he is blessing her life. And we want Sister Banks come up here and take charge of this service and lead this service. And I thought, oh my God. And I looked over at her and she had this strange look. And I went up to lead the service, and the anointing was great. People were blessed, and people were shouting all over the place. And so when I came back, she was distant from me. And it bothered me because we were so close. We were so close. So I remember after the convention, we went home, and I went by her house for something, don't remember now what it was. And I said, Juanita, something I was talking to her about. She said, you're demon possessed. I said, huh? You're demon possessed. I said, I'm not demon possessed. That's not true. She said, yes, you are. I said, I never, ever talked back to her. And I stood up that day and I said, I am not demon possessed. Very unusual for me. I never took that kind of stand. That's why I know standing means everything. And I looked at her and she looked at me and I said, I'm not demon possessed. I'm not letting you tell me that I am because I know I'm not. What I just mentioned to you is true. I'm not going back off of that. Ooh, she was angry with me. I left out of her house. I lived just several blocks down the street, and I cried all the way to my house. I was so scared. Boy, was I scared. I'll never forget it. And I remember when I got inside my living room door, I fell down on the floor by the chair, and I began to weep and ask God, please help me. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. Who can I talk to? There's nobody I can talk to. Where do I go? And I thought, I don't know what to do. I had nobody that I could go to and say, Sister Given did this to me. Nobody. They would have never believed it. I fasted, so I come off the 7-day fast, ate one day, went right back the next on another 7 days. Ate another day, went back again. I think it was 10 days. I was so scared. I fasted myself to death. And I thought, I can't go back to her house anymore. I don't know what this feels like. We're so close, we're like family, her kids and my kids, and oh my God, what am I going to do? But you know what? If I had not been closed, if I had not took the teaching she gave me and applied it to my life, I could have never stood up to her. I had to stand up. I couldn't go down that road. I couldn't let you tell me that. Yes. Sometimes you got to stand up when you feel scared. Stand up. Nobody knows you're scared if you don't tell them. Not even the devil. Stand up. Say, I got to win this. I got to get through this. And God brought me through it. And I remember when Charles came back from Vietnam, and boy, all I could think about, I just want to get out of this city. I went out one day and I saw Juanita in the car, and when she saw me, she took off real fast and cut down through a back alley, and I thought, wow, that's not the Juanita I know. She would have never did that. She acted like she was scared of me. And I thought, I don't know what to do. When Charles came home, I said, I just want to leave. I just want to leave and get away. He said, what happened? I said, I can't explain it to you, but with me and Juanita, I can't explain it. You wouldn't understand. I'll never forget when we pulled out of Tacoma, headed to Oklahoma. I cried all the way. And I remember saying, I'll never look back. I'll never look back. I don't want to ever look back at Tacoma, Washington, ever. Got to Oklahoma, and God began to bless me there and anoint me. And fasting was always a part of it, all the time. That's why I look at people today. If you're going to get established for later, you better do it today. Because there may come a time as time goes on that you're not as strong physically as you used to be. And so, but I gave it everything I had. I love truth. I never had a problem with it. If you don't embrace truth, you'll never win the war. You'll never win the war. You can't win it unless you embrace truth. This is what's good for me. This is not to hurt me. This is to make me feel better. This is to make me grow. This is to make me be strong. Oh, you got to become established. See, some of those attacks that come from the enemy are violent. And sometimes he comes to attack you, to kill you this round. You got to be ready for the war. So Violence simply means spiritual force intended to hurt, damage, or kill you. Put on the armor and stay fully clad, or you won't make it. When the attacks are so hard and they hit so hard, to me, no other trial could ever have been worse than that with Juanita. This was like my mother, my spiritual mother, the one I loved to death, the one I wanted to be like. Oh, my God. I'm so glad I got out of it. He said to me one day, I'll never forget it. He said, Rose, he said, you walk close to Juanita. That's not bad. But except she had some things that wasn't right. And walking that close to her, if I didn't pull you away, you would take on those ways. That's why it's so important for us to possess the right thing. Somebody's going to follow you. Somebody's going to look at your life and say, I want to be like you. Don't have something there that's not good. And he said, but if you walk as close to me as you walk to her, he said, you'll be just like me. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. From that day, I thought to myself, I'm going to be just like you. I'm going to be just like you. I'm not going to walk or be blinded by anybody saying, I'm going to walk with you. When he called me to preach, I said, God, I don't want to preach because there's so many failures in the pulpit, so many people every preacher I see, they're boring. I don't want to be a preacher. And he said to me, if I make you like me, you won't be boring. And I said, I don't want to fail. You don't have to fail if you walk with me. And so true, so true. But I became established. After Peter said, after we have suffered a while, then will God establish me, settle me in him. I can't be settled till I go through the suffering. You people try to avoid suffering. That's why you have no depth. You can't get depth unless you go through the fire. You can't get depth unless you suffer. You can't get depth unless the devil has tried to fight you and you won. Yes. Yes. Thank you for settling me after you've suffered a while. After. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. For God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ. He wants me to put on the things, put on the breastplate of faith, and love him, and wear the helmet, and the hope of salvation. Salvation is our hope. You don't have that, you have no hope. What can I say? Juanita died some years ago. And I said to the Lord, I hope she made it. Because she knew what to do. I hope she made it, but she never contacted me. And I didn't want to be contacted. You got to understand, you got to be strong enough. Listen to this. There's a word called invincibility. And it means unyielding, impregnable, indomitable, suggests that which cannot be overcome. I can't be overcome. How many Christians can say today, I cannot be overcome? I'm a winner. Right. The devil can't win with me. I can't be mastered because he's my master. That's who I go to. Invincible is applied to that which cannot be conquered. You cannot be conquered. I am convinced there's not enough devils out of hell to conquer me. I don't know what you think, but there ain't enough to conquer me. Yes. So, no, I'm not going out like that. I can say with all confidence, because that confidence is in God, I cannot be conquered. If I'm in war, I win. If I'm in war, I overcome. If I'm in war, I'm not subdued in any manner. This thing is what makes you strong. You want to get to the kingdom, you better take it on. You better dress and walk the walk and put on what you need to be perfect, to be what God wants you to be. You better do it all. If you don't, you won't make it. This says impregnable means unable to be captured. You can't capture me. I refute it. No way, no way. I am better than that. I'm bigger than that in God. You can't do it. Yes, yes. So think about it. Think about it. I can't allow that to happen, no matter what. I can't do it. Unable to be captured, unable to be defeated. Can you look at your life and say, I can't be defeated? You can't really say that. If you have not walked in this place, you can't really say, I cannot be defeated. Because in your mind, you're thinking, you know what? I don't know if something comes like that against me. Well, maybe I won't win. I don't know about you. There's no such thing as not winning. No. See, I can't be defeated. I can't be destroyed. Indomitable means impossible to subdue or to defeat you. No. Every Christian in this room should be looking the devil in his face saying, I cannot be defeated. When you walk up on me, rest assured, I cannot be defeated. No matter what, I can't. He knows who can be defeated. He knows the people that have not prepared. He knows the people that didn't do it according to the word. He knows the people that disobey continually. I am so tired of dealing with disobedience. No matter how much you talk against it, they still do it. I said to Brother Simpson this morning, why aren't you at church? Oh, I got a little job at night and I get off in the morning. I said, what did I just say last night? You know what I mean? I said to Nelson and Arlene, you'll never be blessed. If you think you can just go out here and do what you want to do and I'll get a job, and it shouldn't influence your church time in any respect. Period. I got a little job. Why do you have a job? A preacher. It's not like you're broke. Not like you don't have an income. Before I get something that calls me to walk in the place of obedience, I won't have it. I mean, disobedience. I won't have it. No. I said, you're not going to make it. You just heard that in the meeting last night. I talked about obedience, disobedience. And the least disobedience can keep you out the kingdom. And you doing it, and you going to church late. The preacher? Can I not tell you something that I don't live and do? No, I got to live this. To be respected by God, to be honored by him. Are you doing what I ask you to do, Rose? Yes, I am. What is it you want me to do? I'll do it. I'm not going to be part-time. I'm whole-time. I'm going to do it the way you say. No matter the price, no matter what it may cost me. I said in the dream, he had about me going to heaven. Said, Wanda said, they're making preparation for Mama. The people that are specially chosen for a certain work is recognized different in heaven. You know what I thought about it? Ain't nobody up there to get jealous of you. Said, Mama, Wanda said it's a grand entrance for Mama. I said, I don't need a grand entrance. I'll crawl around under the floor. I don't need a grand entrance. I just want to get to the kingdom. I want to know that I did it your way. I want to know that you're pleased, that you can look at me and say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Seeing that you know these things, what you're hearing today, beware lest ye also being led away with the error of the wicked fall from your own steadfastness. There's a lot of false prophets out here, people not speaking the truth. Beware of these people, lest you follow them in the wrong path and you fall away from your own steadfastness because you listen to lies coming from pulpits today. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. I am convinced Martin Luther King said this, so true. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. So true. A man that's not willing to die for it. That's why the Apostle Paul became such a great apostle. He said, you're trying to keep me from going to Jerusalem when God told me to go? He said, look, I'm going to be harmed there. Look, let me tell you something. I'm not even concerned about it. I'm not worried about being harmed. I'm willing to die for this. Whatever it takes. I'm willing to die for it. Yes. Why is it important to stand up? Well, it helps you develop into a strong person. If we bow to others and their opinions and do things their way, whether they're right or not, we start to lose our own identity and start to forget for what we truly stand for. Don't get caught up in people. I don't care what you think about me. After I say what I got to say, you can say, I don't like that, I don't care. I just got something to do for the one that called me to do this job. And if you don't like it, I don't care. The more you stand up for your beliefs, the more self-respect you will develop. The more respect you'll get from God, the more respect you'll get from people around you saying, I admire you. I'd like to have that. You can. There's a word called egalitarian, relating to or believing in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities. So I am that. I believe we ought to all be treated right. I think as a pastor, nothing would be worse in this pulpit or in this church that I say it's okay for this one to do it, but it's not okay for you. We're equal. If this will send you to hell, it'll send you to hell. If this will take you to heaven, that'll take you to heaven. No, I don't have time. I don't have time to have picks in the ministry. I've been in churches where they had picks. That's never good. Never good. Stand is to take a certain position or place. What's your position? What's your place? To remain firm or steadfast. I'm not switching from this. I can't do it. They cursed me out online yesterday. Said so much stuff. Ask me, do I care? That just kind of goes with the territory. If you do it right. Adopt for yourself a firm position. I would not move from it. You were stubborn as a bulldog in your sin. Be stubborn against the devil. You're not going to push me around. Yes. A firm position about any issue or any cause that you believe in, you're not going to change me from that. People could come all over this country and tell me something. Let me tell you, if the word don't say it, I don't believe you. Paul said, though an angel come from heaven, don't believe him. If they come telling you anything other than the gospel we've taught you, he said, I don't care if they came from heaven, don't believe it. When you are solid in place, nothing can shake you or loose from it. I don't care what it is. It can't do it. I've been shook. A lot of things, a lot of pain, a lot of disappointments. But nothing shall separate me from the love of God. If you got a particular issue or cause, stand firm on it. Don't be wishy-washy. So this time, yeah, I believe I can do it. But you know, after I found out that this could happen to you or that could happen to you. No. I thought about Bernie, our attorney. He just loves so much to say. It's something he said that did it. I thought, well, go ahead, Bernie, help yourself. Just take it all. But see, I know. I know who did it. It had nothing to do with how you edited the letter. That letter was going and God was in control. He said, I got the king's heart in my hand. I can turn it any way I want to. If you make a stand, it's simply to hold firm against something or someone. Make a stand. Who are you? What do you believe? Are you true to what you believe? Yes. Makes a stand is doing something a lot stronger and more active than one who takes a stance. There's a difference. Stance is a personal or a position taken toward an issue that is derived from a person's beliefs or values and their views about the world. This is where we at. What are we getting ready to do? David called me this morning. His mama, how's everything going? I said, everything's going great. We're going to win this. We're winning right now. Right now. I listened to Minnie's testimony. It says, I ain't never appreciated church like this in my life. And that's the language. And some of you, you come that close to not having church. You say, God, thank you for church. We could be at home in the bed, laying around doing nothing, bored to death. Yeah. Come back to church looking buck-eyed. Where you? The devil done knocked your teeth out, blacked your eyes, busted your lip, and you ain't had nowhere to get to the hospital to get healed, and you ain't used to praying, so the devil just do you a job. To be steadfast means to be resolutely or dutifully. That's settled. Not moving. I got a mind to live right. I got a mind to do it right. I'm not changing that. I come too far. Nancy Harmon sing that song, I come too far to look back. Boy, y'all got to learn that song. That's a singing woman. She's dead now, but boy, that's a singing white woman I ever seen. That woman could sing. But that song, I come too far to look back. All these years, 54 years later, too far to look back. I'm so close to home. This is what I've been working for. This is what I've been living for. This is what I spent my life for. Yes. I told you about the man that had 7 sons and he was getting ready to die, and his sons were very sad and they were weeping around his bed. He said, hold up a minute. I worked for this day. I worked for this day. He said, that's what y'all need to do. You're crying about this. This is the day I've been looking for. This day. When I can go and hear him say, well done. But be resolute in your decisions. Firm. Unwavering. Firmly fixed in a place. Try to push me if you want to. I ain't moving. Immovable. Not subject to change. Can you say that? Can you say, I'm so immovable until, and steadfast, I'm not even about to change. You got all kind of crap come out here calling me God. It ain't God. No, I'm glad I recognize him. You better recognize it. You better see. You better know what's of God and what's not of God. How important is that? Immovable, not able to be moved, incapable of being influenced by fleeting or emotionless, incapable of being moved. Where are you at? I'm incapable of moving. You know what that means? That's huge. I cannot be moved. Do you know the devil in hell knows it? He knows it. I'm not capable of moving. You think you can change your mind? No. Well, what about this? No. Well, what about this over here? No. I'm staying true to God. Incapable of being moved from one's purpose. This is my purpose. Preach this gospel. Represent God, the strength of God. A strong black woman. No, the God woman. God woman. You can't physically move me. You may want to, but you can't. I remember when the FBI came up there to the thing, they was treating our guys like that, and he said, ma'am, you get away from the door. I said, I'm not getting away from anything. Then he says, call the locals. I said, don't you look stupid. You the FBI, but you gonna call the locals? You are stupid. You're supposed to be bigger than them. He come over to me and said, ma'am, let me tell you, come over here. I said, don't you dare tell me what to do. That's not gonna happen. I sit down on the floor, I said, you getting ready for a 60s movement. The way I get out of here, you better drag me out because I ain't walking out. No, I ain't doing nothing. I turn and say, wasn't you scared, bro? Scared of what? It's a God thing. God is, you either believe he's in control or you don't. You either believe he's going to bring you through it or you don't. You either believe that you're an overcomer or you're not. Steadfast and immovable is solid, firm, resolute, firmly fixed, incapable of being diverted from a primary purpose or mission. It's my mission. Wouldn't give it up for nothing. Have I had pain in my life? Lots of it. Disappointments? Lots of it. Suffering? Yes. But he that suffereth in the flesh cease from sin. All that live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. He said, listen, David said, he brought me up out of a horrible pit. And the miry clay, he set my feet upon a rock, and he established me. I'm already on the rock. Where you at? And I'm trying to get up. You're going to die. You're not going to make it. You still trying to get up? How many years is this? I know one day you're going to hell. You better face it. No, I'm not trying to get up. David said, my heart is established, and I shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon my enemies. Until I see the desire upon my enemies. I told the Lord, before I die, I need to see a few things. Few things. So the lips of truth shall be established. You a liar, you can't be established. Truth establishes you forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. In righteousness shalt thou be established. If you're righteous, you can be established. If you're not righteous, you cannot be. It says, thou shalt be far from oppression. Thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near you. You scared? You ain't righteous. Righteous people don't get scared. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel, Paul said, and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery which was kept secret since the world. Paul said, this gospel I'm preaching, it will establish you. That's why it's so important that preachers preach the truth from the pulpit. Because you can't get established off a bunch of husk. The church is in the pig pen. He said, rooted and built up in him. Rooted and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Yes, rooted and built up. Put the roots down deep, so when the wind comes, you don't blow. I was looking at those two trees they put in the yard last year. For some reason, them two trees always die. I hope they make it this time. I was looking at it, when they first put them in there, they put these supports, stakes in the ground, and they tied to the tree so it's not strong enough. If a wind comes or storm comes, it's not strong enough not to fall, so they tie it up. But it only supposed to stay there for a year. I was just looking at it the other day thinking, I got to tell Matt to loose those trees. They don't need that support no more. When your time gonna come, you don't need somebody holding your hand through everything. Comfort your hearts, he said, and establish you in every good work, every good thing. Maybe you're not established because you're trying to get established in bad stuff. It doesn't work. It says, and don't be carried about with divers and strange doctrines, for it's a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, not with food, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. So I got to be sure that I got the right doctrine, I'm in the right thing. It's a good thing that the heart be established. In here, I'm not going to be moved. I'm not going to be moved. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh a reward against the innocent, he that doeth these things shall never be moved. If you do what's right, you can't be moved. You know why some of y'all are moved all the time? You don't do the right thing. Do the right thing, you'll never be moved. David said, I've set the Lord always before me because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Where is he at in your life? Is he there at all? Shouting, dancing don't prove he's there. It's when the storm comes shows whether he's there. Yes. I come to church this morning, I thought, boy, this don't look like a ghost town. It's so funny. That's a sure sign is folks are scared everywhere. You see a few people walking their dog and walking down the street. I thought, y'all walking dogs, you need to walk with Jesus. Yes. God is in the midst of the church. She can't be moved. God shall help her. He's here to help you, help me. Every day of my life, the reason why I am where I am today, he helped me get here. You can't take the credit for nothing. See? He which holdeth our soul in life and suffereth not our feet to be moved. Surely he shall not be moved forever, for the righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. We'll never be removed. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee, don't go to sleep. He don't slumber. He's right there, doing what needs to be done. They that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. You got to look at your life this morning and say, you know what? I ain't settled. One minute you go on with God, next minute you don't know, and the devil hit me today, and all this stupid junk. You can't make it like that. You know what? It's popular to be weak in this society. How weak are you? You don't have to go very far. They're everywhere. Job couldn't be shaken out of all that happened to him. All these things, he couldn't be shaken. Even when his wife was a fool. You talk like a fool, woman. Why don't you just curse God and die? I ain't cursing God. That's where everything I am is right there. I won't be moved. I won't be moved. The apostles, no matter what they did to them, that's what made them so great. That's why they're our patriarchs that we talk about to this day, because these people were strong. You put them in jail, they shout. No matter where you put them, they are ready to praise God. Have a good time doing it. Yes. I got up this morning, I thought, God, I laid in the bed last night and prayed for a while, and I got to get to sleep. Didn't get to sleep till almost 4 o'clock, and by the time I thought I was going to sink in, I was now being called to the restroom. I thought, not now. I need to rest. Couldn't go back then. I thought when I get there, the cow was massaging my back this morning. I went to sleep in a few minutes. I thought, wait till this service is over. I'm getting ready to let it roll, boy. But I don't have time to sit down and say, you know what? Y'all, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm just so tired. Oh, am I tired? Oh. When I come up in this church, believe me. But the good part about it, hey, this ain't going to last. This ain't going to last. I hope you will take this time and say, you know what, I wasn't ready for this storm. Be honest with yourself. I wasn't ready for this storm. I talk the talk. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Can you maintain your place with God? In the midst of the storm, are you shifting? I don't know if I'm going to make it. I hate to somebody say, you know, Sister Rose, I hope I make it. I thought, get out of my face. You hope you make it? No, you got to know you're going to make it. I know I'm going to win. Yes. It's important. No, we got to stand tall. Go when you feel like it, go when you don't. Praise him when you feel like it, praise him when you don't. Continue to push forward. People, this world's coming to an end, believe it or not. We're living in the last days. The stuff we see, this is the last days. But you can win. And you ought to thank God when you go all the way home. When you drive down that street, Lord, thank you for church. Thank you for church. I thank God for church. If I'm out of Sunday, I think, what am I going to do with myself? I'm bored. Better go pray. And I look at the clock. I'm supposed to be preaching now. What am I going to do? I'm going to to go to church. And Lisa said this morning, but see, Mama, church is our life. Church is not their life. No, it's not. I mean, we fit into this category every day of the week. Wednesday automatically means we're going to church. Friday, we're going to happy hour. Saturday going to be a meeting. Either you're going to get blessed or whooped. Hey, whip me, let the righteous smite me. This shall be a kindness to me. I called Gene the other day and I said, Gene, I don't know if we're going to have church. They're talking about these different things and Gene like to talk my head off. I thought, Gene? He said, Pastor Rose, Pastor Rose, I thought, Gene can talk. He said, I just got through looking at my suit I'm going to be wearing something. I said, don't you ever say Gene can't talk, he just got to be the right thing. Boy, he was getting uptight about no church. No. I said, God can fix it, and he fixed it. He fixed it. But I was prepared that God, if we have to walk this road, then by all means give us grace to do it. I ask for me, I ask for the people. Thank God for the victory. This is a good time.
I'm glad that man, he didn't let teardrops fall. You know what? I know he'd find joy in every tear that I shed. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man didn't make heartaches. 'Cause I know he'd give me more. He'd give me more than I could bear. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man, he didn't create me. Oh, Lord, for one day. Man, he surely forsake me.